By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. By faith, he made his home in the promised land, like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God.
Well, thank you so much for that reading. And today, as we look through this week in faith, and we see the journey of Abraham, and we see here that Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. And if you're a Christian, you instantly have experienced this. That God calls you to somewhere, yet physically you don't know what it's all going to look like. God had spoken to Abraham and told Abraham, I'm going to bless you. Eventually he is led to the land that he's going to be given as an inheritance. He's going to live there in a tent. And God speaks to Abraham to walk through the breadth and the length of the land. And then Abraham would walk through the breadth of the length, and the breadth of the land, and then go back into his tent and live in that land like a stranger. And we have the exact same experience when we put our faith in Jesus Christ. There's a lot of unknowns. Think about it with your own family and your friends. Or maybe you think, if I become a Christian, how will my workplace treat me? What would my friends think if I told them that I became a believer? There's unknowns. And whatever decision we make, the obstacles or the difficulties that we can have by not seeing what is going to happen next, what we put our trust in really has to outweigh all of that. And it truly does. It truly always gives more, putting our faith in Jesus Christ. And Abraham was willing to make life-changing decisions because God had spoken to him and told him to follow. And Jesus Christ has told us, follow me. What about my home? What about my education? What about my workplace? And there's all questions. We see it with the disciples that God sees some of them fishing, and Jesus says to them, follow me, and they just leave their nets and follow. And it's this process of, could you imagine them just beginning to follow Jesus and say, where are we going? Where are we going? But the important thing really wasn't where we were going physically, but who we were following. And who the revelation that this is the Christ, the Son of the living God. This is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. This is the place of life. This is the place of forgiveness and eternal life. Remember when Jesus was teaching to many people and some of them found it really hard? Jesus was basically saying to him that I am the only way to have life. There's no other life other than me. And you really have to trust me. You really have to put your faith in me. And he was really pinpointing it down to the reality that only in Jesus can I have life. And some of them found it hard. Some of them made a decision, I can't follow anymore. And Jesus turns to his disciples and says, are you going to go with them? And they said to Jesus, where else can we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have come to know and believe you are the Holy One of God. That's a heart that's saying, it doesn't matter if I have to go into difficulty. It doesn't matter if I have obstacles. It doesn't matter if I don't have all my questions answered right now and there's lots of unknowns. It doesn't matter if I have to leave my familiar surroundings and follow you, Jesus. And even when I get to the place where I am at this present time, I'm still living as a stranger in unfamiliar surroundings. But what I'm not a stranger to is who you are. What I'm not a stranger to is your voice speaking to me. And me knowing that this is the truth, that this is the way, and this is the life. And I'm willing to endure difficult experiences. I'm willing to go through the obstacles and make big decisions about the things that I can't see, because my eyes is fixed on the one I can see, which is Jesus Christ. And I know only in this place can my sins be paid for. Only can Jesus give eternal life. There's no other place. Only in Jesus Christ is the resurrection from the dead. And even though we experience death, even though we go through death now, it is not that we're looking forward to that city that is being built by God. We're looking forward to that body that is being given, not built by any human hands, but by God himself, a heavenly body. And we follow knowing that. And because of that, we're willing to make big decisions that affect our whole life, because our faith is in Jesus Christ, because we are confident, fully convinced that he is the Christ, the Son of the living God. And so Abraham was willing to leave home and follow, even though he still wasn't even told where he was going yet. But what he did know, he knew the one he was following. And if you're a believer, you know that. You know him whom you're following. So God bless you. And go through this day with confidence in Jesus, that you know whom you've believed in. And God bless you. Take care.